I have been foolish not to see what history has proven, over and over again, that Autobots and Decepticons will never mend their ways. If there can be no diplomatic solution to this perpetual conflict, then I must not allow more darkness to fall upon this or any planet. Megatron must be destroyed.
Optimus Prime, the leader of the heroic Autobots from the Transformers franchise, is one of the most recognizable characters in pop culture. Since his on-screen debut in 1984, he has been a role model for boys and young men of all ages, being notable as a poster boy for healthy masculinity. From his creation, Optimus has embodied traits such as leadership, strength, honor, humility, tenderness, loyalty, and compassion. Thus, when his portrayal in the live-action Transformers film franchise directed by Michael Bay began to diverge from this classic portrayal of the character, fans were quite vocal about their displeasure. Yet there is another version of Prime that has received some ire that is entirely undeserved. Transformers Prime was a 3D computer animated show that ran from 2010 to 2013. It was notable in its time for being a far more serious retelling of the Transformers mythos, with the opening miniseries centering around Megatron, the fiendish leader of the Decepticons, discovering the secrets of necromancy, the art of raising the dead.
Plucked from cosmic shores, gaze upon dark inner John.
Legend tells that it holds the power to revive the dead.
While not a humorless show by any means, Transformers Prime portrayed the war between the Autobots and Decepticons as an actual war, with all the horrors that entailed. Absent were the ludicrous plots of Generation 1. The Decepticons were now a force to be reckoned with. Nothing was off the table, including crippling injuries, torture, and even death.
Any more questions?
The Autobots of Transformers Prime were more akin to a small but elite crew of commandos than to the cartoon superheroes of Generation 1. Each of them had suffered substantial trauma in their past due to the evils of Megatron and his subordinates. None had experienced more suffering, however, than Optimus Prime. As the leader of the Autobots and one of the first to stand against Megatron's regime, Optimus has been both witness to and victim of many of the worst atrocities in Cybertron's storied history. Not least of all, Megatron's betrayal. Before the war began, Optimus and Megatron were friends, close enough to be considered brothers. Megatron, once known as Megatronus, was a gladiator who rose to political prominence in the twilight years of Cybertron's golden age. Once he had gained a substantial following, he confronted the High Council of Cybertron, declaring that if he were named ruler of Cybertron, he would eradicate the old ways by force. When Optimus, then known as Orion Pax, was instead chosen to be the next Prime or leader of Cybertron, Megatron grew enraged and began waging a millennia-long war. Heartbroken yet devoted to his people, Optimus Prime led the Autobots against his once brother. Yet through it all, he could not help but hope that Megatron would one day become the bot he once was. It is here, after thousands of years of war, that we first meet this version of Optimus Prime. Stranded on Earth in an ever-shrinking team of Autobots, Prime is desperate for the war to end. Throughout the first season of the show, Optimus extends invitation to numerous Decepticons to end the war peacefully.
Is this ancient war still worth fighting, when so many comrades have been lost, and worlds destroyed? If you want to be a true leader, Starscream, then stray from Megatron's path, and lead the Decepticons toward peace.
When such invitations are denied, he mourns.
Had Skyquake chosen to stray from his master's path, we might not be burying him today.
At the beginning of the show, Optimus secretly holds a wish that Megatron may, once more, become the bot he once was. But in the Season 1 finale, Prime finally accepts that Megatron must be destroyed. From here on out, we have a less merciful Prime. Like never before, he is dedicated to ending the war once and for all. Never is this more apparent than in this interaction from the middle of Season 2.
It would seem that I'm unarmed and at your mercy. So tell me, Optimus, Do you intend to take me alive? Or end this here and now?
Note the shock on everyone, including Megatron's face. After millennia of war, a lifetime of knowing Optimus Prime on an intimate level, he is shocked to see a killer's look in his ancient foe's eye. Contrast this with an interaction between Megatron and Jack Darby in Season 1.
I suppose helping those less fortunate would be completely out of the question. If that is the case, you might as well use your drill to finish me. I guarantee you will never have a better opportunity than right now. Well, what are you waiting for? Think of the glory. Seize the day. Optimus would.
No, he wouldn't. Not like this.
I will be sure to share the details of our little conversation with Optimus the day I rip out his spark!
And a follow-up interaction with Jack, RC, and Bulkhead.
We could finish him, here and now.
Shame you didn't bring any grenades.
Would Optimus finish them?
No, he probably wouldn't. Not like this.
This is Optimus Prime's story in this show, a journey of learning to do what must be done. In all of his battles with Megatron over the years, though Prime may have said he'd finish it, he'd always lacked the will to do so.
Renee.
I do not disagree, Ratchet. It's just a small part of me hoped to change Megatron's mind, not extinguish his spark.
But here in this scene, Prime says nothing. He only aims his blaster. Were it not for the timely arrival of Dreadwing, the sole Decepticon Optimus trusts, Megatron would have died then and there. It's only disappointing that the show never elected to give us the cathartic moment where Prime finally ended Megatron, once and for all. The third season, while not entirely without merit, was in many ways a detriment to Optimus's character, while doing wonders for characters like Wheeljack, Starscream, and Bumblebee. While Optimus's character arc in the first two seasons was subtle and understated, it was not non-existent, as some critics claim. Another criticism leveled at Prime in this show is that he is humorless, lacking the often dad-like qualities of his G1 counterpart. While G1 Optimus is deserving of the love he receives, and while he is the gold standard for Optimus Prime portrayals, some context is necessary. Generation 1 was largely an action comedy for children. The characters were fun, vibrant, and often silly. The war was little more than a backdrop. As stated earlier, however, the war of Transformers Prime was a brutal affair, and Optimus was at the center of it all. Such trauma would kill the humor of many a man, or 30-foot-tall alien robot. According to Ratchet, Optimus was not always the stoic warrior he once was. Thus one can conclude that a lifetime of constant war has hardened the once happier Optimus Prime. And yet even despite this, Prime is not without his softer, or even humorous moments.
What's a kilt?
Agent Fowler can at times be oblique. I find it best to simply nod and mobilize.
The Arctic? I've always wanted to see snow.
I would invite you to join Raphael, but the conditions are much too extreme, even for we Autobots.
I understand.
But I will bring you back a snowball.
That would be awesome.
While rarer than in G1, or even than I may personally prefer, to call Optimus a completely stoic, humorless character is incredibly disingenuous and correct. Centuries upon millennia of war have given him a harder exterior, but scratch the surface, and he's the same Prime he's always been. Just older, grimmer, and ultimately, sadder. Transformers Prime's Optimus is a beautiful and tragic character, one who gives hope to others and keeps none for himself. A good man, or robot, scarred from a war that began long before the dawn of human civilization, yet who still maintains his merciful side, and a warrior who came to realize that we must do what must be done, even if it breaks our heart. Thank you all for watching. If you like what I do here, consider liking and subscribing and sharing the video with your friends. I'll be back next time with another video, this one on the Man of Steel himself. If you'd like to consider supporting the channel, Patreon link is in the description. Patrons will be able to vote on future video topics. The more supporters I receive, the more rewards I'll add. All that said, I'll see you all in my next one, whenever that is. See ya.